I could feel Ciel's pleasure building, her body tensing, her breaths coming in short, sharp gasps, her moans growing louder, more desperate. I redoubled my efforts, my tongue and fingers working in tandem, pushing her higher, closer to the edge. "Aiden," she cried out, her voice a desperate plea. "Please, I need you. I need all of you." Her words were a match to the tinder of my desire, and I knew that I could no longer hold back. I positioned myself at her entrance, my eyes locked on hers, seeking her consent, her permission, her love. She nodded, her eyes filled with tears of joy, of love, of sheer unadulterated happiness. "Yes, Aiden. Yes, my love, I am yours, forever." With a growl of possession, I sheathed myself inside her, her tight, wet heat enveloping me, surrounding me, completing me. I still for a moment, savoring the feeling, the connection, the sheer perfection of being joined with her in every possible way. Then I began to move, my hips thrusting against hers, my body claiming hers, my love for her pouring out of me, into her, binding us together in a way that was primal, instinctive, and utterly perfect. Ciel wrapped her legs around me, her heels digging into my ass, urging me deeper, harder, faster. I complied, my body moving with a mind of its own, my hips snapping against hers, my breath coming in short, sharp gasps, my heart pounding in my chest like a drumbeat, a rhythm that matched hers, that bound us together, that made us one. Kian and Liam continued their exploration, their touches and kisses a symphony of pleasure that heightened our senses, that pushed us higher, that made the experience even more intense, more overwhelming, more perfect. Declan joined us, his body pressing against Ciel's back, his hands roaming her body, his lips finding the sensitive spot below her ear, his teeth grazing her skin, marking her, claiming her, possessing her in a way that was fierce, dominant, and utterly intoxicating. The room was filled with the sounds of our passion, the wet slapping of flesh, the low growls and moans, the desperate pleas for more, the whispered words of love and endearment. It was a symphony of pleasure, a testament to our love, our desire, our need for each other. And it was perfect, utterly and completely perfect. I could feel my release building, my body tensing, my breaths coming in short, sharp gasps, my heart pounding in my chest like a drumbeat, a warning, a promise of the explosive release that was to come. Ciel's body tensed beneath me, her inner muscles clenching around me, milking me, urging me on, pushing me higher, closer to the edge. "Aiden!" she cried out, her voice a desperate plea. "I'm close, so close. Please don't stop. Don't ever stop." Her words were a match to the tinder of my desire, and I knew that I was lost, that I was hers, that I would do anything, everything to please her, to make her happy, to make her mine in every possible way. With a final, powerful thrust, I sent us both over the edge, our bodies convulsing, our cries of pleasure echoing through the room, our love for each other a tangible force that bound us together, that made us one, that ensured that we would never, ever be apart again. As we lay there, our bodies sat, our hearts slowly returning to a normal rhythm, our breaths coming in short, sharp gasps. I knew that this was just the beginning, that our love was a journey, an adventure, a passion that would burn bright and fierce for all eternity. And as I looked into Ciel's eyes, seeing my own love and desire reflected back at me, I knew that I was home, that I was complete, that I was hers and she was mine, and together we would face whatever came next. Our love a beacon of light in the darkness, a promise of a future bright and filled with hope. Ciel's POV. The sun streamed through the large windows of the dining room, casting a warm, golden glow over the table where we all sat, engrossed in the comfortable routine of our mornings. The clink of cutlery against plates, the soft hum of conversation, and the aroma of freshly brewed coffee created a cozy atmosphere that had become our norm over the past 6 months. Living with the brothers had fallen into an easy rhythm, a dance of sorts that felt natural and right. I had taken a job at the local library as a historian, immersing myself in the rich tapestry of Ireland's past. The work was fulfilling, and it gave me a sense of purpose beyond the extraordinary circumstances of my life. The brothers supported me in every way, their presence a constant source of strength and love. As I sat at the table, pushing my eggs around my plate, I felt a sudden wave of nausea. I pressed a hand to my stomach, taking a deep breath, trying to will the feeling away. It had been happening more frequently lately, but I hadn't given it much thought, attributing it to the stress of work and the emotional roller coaster of the past few months. "CL, are you all right?" Aiden asked, his brow furrowed with concern as he noticed my pale complexion. I forced a smile, not wanting to worry him. "I'm fine, just a bit tired. I think I need to lie down for a bit." I stood up, but the room suddenly spun and my vision blurred. I reached out, trying to grab onto something to steady myself, but it was too late. The world went black as I crumpled to the floor, my body going limp. When I came to, I was in a hospital room, the sterile smell and the beep of machines a stark contrast to the warmth of our home. I blinked, my eyes adjusting to the bright light, and I saw the brothers surrounding my bed, their faces a mix of relief and worry. "CL, you're awake!" Kian said, his voice a low rumble of emotion as he took my hand, his thumb gently stroking my knuckles. I tried to sit up, but a wave of dizziness washed over me, and I sank back into the pillows. "What happened?" I asked, my voice hoarse. Liam leaned in, his eyes soft with concern. "You passed out at the table. We brought you to the hospital, and the doctors have been running some tests." Just then, the doctor entered the room, a warm smile on his face. "Ah, you're awake. That's a good sign," he said, his eyes scanning the chart in his hand. "CL, I have some news for you." I looked at him, a sense of unease settling in my stomach. The brothers tightened their grip on my hands, their support a comforting presence. "The tests show that you're pregnant," the doctor announced, his voice filled with enthusiasm. I stared at him, my mind blank for a moment as I processed the words. Pregnant. The emotion that surged through me was a whirlwind of shock, joy, fear, and excitement. I looked at the brothers, seeing my own mix of emotions reflected in their eyes. Tears welled up in my eyes, spilling over and streaming down my cheeks. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry, so I did both, a sob escaping my lips as I covered my face with my hands. The brothers surrounded me, their arms wrapping around me, their voices a chorus of soothing whispers and words of love. "It's okay, CL. We're here. We're so happy," Kian murmured, his lips pressing a soft kiss to my temple. "I can't believe it," I managed to say between sobs. "I'm going to have a baby." The doctor chuckled, a warm, reassuring sound. "Yes, you are. And from the looks of it, you're about 8 weeks along. We'll need to monitor you closely, as your fainting spell suggests that your body is going through some significant changes." I nodded, my mind racing with a million thoughts. A baby. Our baby. The idea filled me with a sense of purpose and love that was overwhelming. "Thank you, Doctor," Aiden said, his voice steady and calm. "We'll take good care of her." The doctor nodded, giving me a final reassuring smile before leaving the room, closing the door behind him. As soon as we were alone, the brothers turned to me, their eyes filled with a mix of joy, wonder, and a touch of fear. "CL, this is incredible," Declan said, his voice hoarse with emotion. "You're going to make an amazing mother." I smiled, my heart swelling with love for them and for the little life growing inside me. "We're going to be a family," I whispered, my voice filled with awe. Liam took my hand, his thumb gently circling my palm. "And we'll be by your side every step of the way. You're not alone in this, CL. We're in this together." Kian leaned in, his forehead resting against mine, his eyes filled with a depth of love that took my breath away. "You've given us the greatest gift, CL. A family, a future, a reason to fight and to live. We love you more than words can express." Aiden nodded in agreement, his voice a low growl of emotion. "And we'll protect you and our child with our lives. You are our everything, CL. Our world, our love, our future." Tears streamed down my face as I looked at each of them, seeing the depth of their love and commitment. I knew that together, we could face anything. The journey ahead would be filled with challenges, with joy, with fear, and with love. But as long as we had each other, we could overcome anything. "I love you all so much," I whispered, my voice choked with emotion. "Thank you for being here, for supporting me, for loving me. I couldn't ask for a better family, a better life, a better future." The brothers leaned in, their lips finding mine in a series of soft, tender kisses that sealed our promise to each other. We were a family, bound by love, by blood, and by the miracle of new life. As I lay there, surrounded by the men I loved, I felt a profound sense of peace and happiness. The road ahead was uncertain, but with them by my side, I knew that I could face whatever came next. Our love was a beacon of light in the darkness, a promise of a future bright and filled with hope. The brothers helped me settle back into the pillows, their touches gentle and caring. "You should rest," Kian said softly. "Your body needs time to adjust to these changes." I nodded, a small smile playing on my lips. "I think you're right. But first, I want to hold each of you, to feel your strength, your love, your support." They obliged, taking turns holding me, their arms wrapping around me in a comforting embrace. I could feel their love, their joy, their excitement, and it filled me with a warmth that spread through every fiber of my being. As I drifted off to sleep, lulled by the soothing rhythm of their hearts and the knowledge that I was loved beyond measure, I knew that this was just the beginning of a new chapter in our lives. A chapter filled with love, with growth, with challenges, and with the most precious gift of all, new life. And as I dreamed of the future, of the baby that would soon join our family, I knew that we were ready to face the world, ready to protect and nurture the life we had created, and ready to love with every fiber of our beings. Together, we were unbreakable, and together, we would welcome our new beginning with open arms and hearts full of love. Aiden's POV when the news settled in, I found myself standing alone in the library, surrounded by books I could no longer focus on. My hands were shaking, and my heart pounded in my chest like a drumbeat, echoing the magnitude of the revelation. She was pregnant. CL, our Luna, our everything, was carrying life, a piece of all of us. It didn't matter whose seed took root. We were one soul bound across 4 bodies. The child would be ours. I closed my eyes and leaned against the tall oak shelves, the cool wood a grounding presence against my spinning thoughts. The realization hit me like a thunderclap. I was going to be a father, a historian, a warrior, a mate, and now a father. The roles blended together, each one a piece of the man I was, the man I would be. Tears welled up in my eyes, spilling over and streaming down my cheeks. I didn't try to stop them. They were a release, a catharsis, a testament to the overwhelming emotions surging through me. I thought of her smile, that radiant, infectious grin that could light up the darkest rooms. I thought of her fierce strength, the way she stood unyielding against all odds, her spirit unbroken. I remembered the way she'd laid down her life for us in Benin, her sacrifice a testament to her love and devotion. And now she'd bear the future. Our future. A future filled with hope, with love, with a life that was a blend of all of us. We had faced death together, had stared into the abyss and come out stronger. But life? This was the most sacred battle of all. Nurturing a new soul, guiding it, loving it. It was a responsibility that filled me with both awe and terror. I took a deep, shuddering breath, my hands still trembling as I wiped away the tears. I looked around the library, at the books that held the wisdom of the ages, and I knew that I would do everything in my power to ensure that our child would grow up in a world filled with love, with knowledge, and with the strength to face whatever came their way. Because that was what CL deserved. That was what our family deserved. Liam's POV, I punched the heavy bag until my knuckles ached, each blow a release of the raw, explosive emotions surging through me. Joy doesn't always feel soft. Sometimes it explodes. Sometimes it claws its way up through years of trauma and becomes something so raw it feels like grief. And that was exactly how I felt. Raw, exposed, and overwhelmed. We were going to have a pup. The thought was both exhilarating and terrifying. I imagined a tiny hand gripping my finger, trusting and innocent. A laugh that sounded like hers, pure and joyful. A growl that mirrored ours, fierce and protective. A little creature with curls and ancient eyes who would know power before it could speak. The image was so vivid, so real, that it took my breath away. And I was terrified. Terrified of the responsibility, of the love, of the potential loss. I had lost so much in my life. Family, friends, pieces of myself. But this little life growing inside CL, I would protect with everything I had. With my last breath, with my final drop of blood, I would ensure that our child was safe, loved, and cherished. I leaned my head against the wall of the training room, sweat rolling down my back, my breath heaving from the exertion. The room was a blur, my vision swimming with unshed tears. "You're going to be a damn good father," Declan said from the doorway, his voice steady and sure. I didn't look at him, just nodded, unable to speak past the lump in my throat. "We all will be," he added, his tone filled with a determination that mirrored my own. In that moment, I knew that we would face this journey together, that we would stand as a united front, protecting and nurturing the life that CL carried. And with that knowledge, a sense of peace washed over me, tempering the raw emotions and leaving behind a steadfast resolve. We were going to be fathers, and we were going to be damn good at it. Declan's POV, I watched her sleep from the edge of the bed, my heart swelling with a love so profound it ached. Her hand was draped over her stomach now, even in sleep, protectively, instinctively. She was already a mother, her body and soul preparing for the life growing within her. I'd never felt anything like this sacred pull, this overwhelming sense of protection and love. It was primal, instinctual, and all-consuming. In the middle of the night, I shifted to my wolf, curling around her body like a guard dog, listening to the subtle hum of change in her. There was more than blood growing inside her. There was a prophecy, a future forged in the fire of her strength and the loyalty of our bond. I thought of Yabo, of her sacrifice, of the battle in the jungle. Her words echoed in my mind, a reminder of the power and destiny that CL carried. You are more than their legacy, CL. You are your own force, a power unto yourself. And now she carried the next chapter of our legacy, a legacy of love, of strength, and of unbreakable bonds. I whispered a promise into the dark, my voice a low growl of determination. I'll kill anything that tries to take you or this child from us. Burn the world if I must. because that was what she deserved. That was what our family deserved. Protection, love, and a future free from the shadows of the past. As I lay there, my wolf form pressed against hers, I felt a sense of peace, of rightness. We were meant for this, meant to face the challenges and joys of parenthood together. And with that knowledge, I drifted off to sleep, my dreams filled with visions of a future bright and hopeful, a future where our love and strength would guide and protect the life we had created. Kian's POV, I stood on the cliffs before sunrise, overlooking the valley where wolves once howled to war and peace. The wind whipped my coat, cold and relentless, but I barely felt it. My mind was a whirlwind of emotions, of hopes and of dreams for the future. She was carrying our heir. No, she was carrying the next evolution. Witch, dire wolf, Luna. She was everything the world feared and everything it desperately needed. The sun began to rise, casting a golden glow over the landscape, a symbol of the new beginning that lay before us. We would build a new legacy, one not born from fear, but love, one forged in the fire of her strength and the loyalty of our bond, a legacy that would stand the test of time, a beacon of hope and power in a world that so often seemed dark and uncertain. I turned to the house as the first light kissed the hills, the sight of our home filling me with a sense of purpose and determination. And for the first time since I was made alpha, I felt something I hadn't in years. Hope. Hope for the future, hope for our family, and hope for the life growing within CL. As I walked back to the house, the cool morning air nipping at my heels, I knew that we were ready to face the challenges, to embrace the joys, and to build a future that was bright, hopeful, and filled with the unbreakable bond of our love. Together, we would create a legacy that would echo through the ages, a testament to the power of love, of family, and of the unyielding spirit of the O'Neill Wolves. Epilogue. CL's POV. 6 months had passed since our twin daughters entered the world screaming and radiant. 2 small, beautiful storms that changed everything. Their arrival had been a whirlwind of joy, chaos, and an overwhelming sense of purpose. Maya and Nia, our little miracles, had brought a light into our lives that was nothing short of magical. They were light incarnate, these 2 precious girls. Maya, with her spirited laughter and inquisitive nature, and Nia, with her serene smile and calm demeanor, were a perfect blend of our strengths and gentleness. They had my curls, thick, dark, and unruly, and the brothers' piercing gray eyes, each ringed in gold like halos. Their laughter filled the house like music, pure, unfiltered joy that could melt even the coldest of hearts. They were always smiling, always curious, as if they already knew they were born of magic and strength, and carried both inside their tiny, perfect bodies. And oh, they were so deeply, completely loved. Liam and Declan had declared themselves the girls' full-time guardians, a declaration none of us had even thought to contest. They were twins raising twins, coordinated and chaotic in the most beautiful way, endlessly patient and completely devoted. They had routines for everything: feedings, baths, lullabies. They could decode baby babble like an ancient dialect, their bond with the girls as deep and unbreakable as the one they shared with each other. Everywhere they went, Maya and Nia followed, perched on broad shoulders or bundled in slings against their chests. Declan read to them from war tomes and strategy scrolls like they were bedtime stories, his voice a soothing rumble that could lull even the most restless of minds. Liam sang lullabies in Gaelic, then in Yoruba, whispering promises of love and safety and starlight, his melody a comforting lullaby that spoke of a love that transcended time and space. And now, I am pregnant again. 3 months along, and the news had filled our home with an even brighter light, if that was possible. I had a small curve blooming beneath my silk robe, just enough for Kian to constantly rest his hand there, like it grounded him, like it tethered him to this new joy. Sometimes he would whisper to the baby in his deep alpha voice, and the child, not even born yet, would always stir, as if recognizing the sound of their father's voice. We were gathered around the long breakfast table in our sun-drenched kitchen, the heart of our home. The air was rich with the scent of cinnamon, roasted nuts, and honeyed tea, a comforting aroma that spoke of love and family. Nia was perched on Liam's lap, chewing on a wooden teething ring with great determination, her eyes sparkling with mischief. Maya was in Declan's arms, trying to eat a napkin while he argued, solemnly, that napkins were not meant for consumption, his voice filled with a mock seriousness that made us all chuckle. Kian sat beside me, his fingers moving in slow, reverent circles on my belly. There was a softness in his usually stoic features, something radiant and quiet that only I got to see. He looked at me like I held the moon itself beneath my skin, his eyes filled with a love that was both overwhelming and profoundly comforting. "They're perfect, you know," he said softly, his eyes locked on our daughters, a mixture of pride and awe in his voice. "Absolutely perfect." I leaned into his shoulder, smiling, my heart swelling with emotion. "So are you. All of you," I replied, my voice choked with tears of joy. "You are everything to me, and I am so grateful for each and every one of you." At the stove, Aiden turned from his task, spatula in one hand, bowl of something horrifying and delicious in the other. He grinned, his eyes twinkling with amusement and love. "Perfect enough to whip up peanut butter pancakes with pickled onions and cheese, apparently," he said, his voice filled with a playful teasing that never failed to make me laugh. I groaned and laughed, covering my face, the sound echoing through the kitchen, filling it with a warmth that was pure and unadulterated joy. "I swear these cravings are possessed," I managed to say between laughs, my stomach already rumbling in anticipation. He brought the plate over like it was a sacred offering, setting it gently in front of me. "Made with love, confusion, and a prayer for your stomach," he said, his voice soft and sincere, his eyes filled with a depth of emotion that spoke volumes. I kissed his cheek, touched beyond words, my heart swelling with love and gratitude. "You're a saint," I whispered, my voice hoarse with emotion. He winked, a playful glint in his eye. "Historian. Saint. Same thing," he replied, his tone light and teasing, but the love behind his words was undeniable. Laughter bubbled up from deep inside me, the kind that makes your ribs ache and your heart feel too big for your chest. Around me, my family glowed with life, their faces alight with joy and love, their eyes reflecting the same overwhelming happiness that I felt. There was peace here. Not the hollow kind, the kind that's only found after violence and grief have hollowed you out. This peace was earned, built with fire and devotion, paid for with tears and rage and sacrifice. This was real. This was us. I looked around our home, the stone hearth, the ivy-laced windows, the hand-woven charms hanging above every door, each a testament to our love and the magic that bound us together. I saw Declan bouncing Maya gently on his knee, her laugh erupting like bells, a sound that was music to my ears. Liam kissed the top of Nia's head as he handed her a toy, his touch gentle and loving, his eyes filled with a depth of emotion that spoke of a love that was eternal. Aiden wipes flour from his jaw while checking his recipe again, his concentration adorable and endearing. Kian brushing his lips against my temple, his eyes never leaving me, his presence a comforting and grounding force that I leaned into, drawing strength and love from his touch. I had found a love that didn't just claim me, it became me. It was a love that was all-consuming, all-encompassing, and all-powerful. A love that had given me not just a family, but a purpose, a legacy, and a reason to fight for a better tomorrow. I had once searched books for meaning, wandered cities for connection, bled in battle for belonging. Now, I was Luna. I was a mother. I was their mate. I am a legacy. And as our daughters giggled and my unborn child fluttered within me, I knew without doubt, this story, my story, was only just beginning. The bloodline didn't end with me. It bloomed. We were a pack, a family, a force to be reckoned with, and the world would never be the same again. Our love was a beacon of hope, a testament to the power of family, and a promise of a future bright and filled with endless possibilities. As I sat there, surrounded by the people I loved more than life itself, I knew that we had created something truly magical. A family forged in love, strengthened by trials, and bound by an unbreakable bond. And as I looked into the future, I saw only light, only love, and only the promise of a beautiful, beautiful tomorrow.